Ladies and gentlemen, the question on this Aries full moon at 6 degrees is how judgmental were your parents? I repeat, the question on this full moon was how judgmental was your parents? And elaborate on the impact if that judgment was criticism or simple awareness. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is your AstroShaman Pernell Bobby. We are generating an economy of harmony, leveraging human design and genetic astrology. The memberships are always going on. Okay, the next meeting is October 1st. If you are looking to join a community, Libra and Libra season speaks a lot for these new relationships that are forming, these bonds that are connecting. All right, the balance that is happening in your mental body. And there's a lot of what this gate is about. We're going to add a little bit of the human design aspect. Libra and the sun is going to represent gene key 18 or gate 18. Okay, and this is a lot of where the judgment is coming from. Libra is a very judgmental sign, very different than the judgment of Virgo, and we're going to try to break that down. Hit the thumbs up and the likes button early in this first minute. Okay, all right, if you think already and you're at the beginning of this video and you're watching this on replay that your parents are highly judgmental, drop the scales representing the Libra. Okay, drop the scales representing judgment. If your parents were really, really free and they let you pretty much grow, I don't want to say unadulterated, but grow without telling you you must do this, or you must do that, or this is not okay, or this is bad, or this is too sexy to wear, or this is, this don't have this broke mindset, whatever it is. And the broke mindset matters. Why? Because Libra is a part of Venus. That's what I was saying. And so we're going to need to look at where's Venus during this time frame, and it's where? Leo. Oh, we have some interesting news. So hit the thumbs up and the likes button. If your parents felt more free, drop the Aries. I left my water downstairs. Drop the Aries, drop the Ram. If your parents are free and they're independent. Now, dipping into this full moon, okay? As you hit the thumbs up and the likes button, don't forget that we are running a retreat here in Guadalajara, Mexico. All right? And that's all I'll say for now. So, here we go. We have three major things that are standing out to me. Okay, the one first obvious is always going to be, and I'm going to put the screen up. Okay, so the one first thing that we have here is we have the moon looking at the opposite direction of the sun, which is standard on any full moon. It's happening at 6 degrees at exactly 00 minutes. Now, this already is telling me a story. What's the story? There's a solar eclipse in Libra later, meaning that the sun will be blocked out by the moon. All right, so this is kind of showing me that shadow aspect is happening later. Happening at 6 degrees, we know this degree of Virgo. Awesome. So the first couple of things that's going on is, that's coming to my mind right now, are you resting long enough? Have you took the time to hermit long enough to understand whether your mind is judgmental in a way that is helpful or harmful? The mind itself, the human mind, will always judge. There will never be a day that we won't judge left from right, black from white, green from purple, tall from short. We're going to do it, and it's never been bad, but it's this, we have this internal goal, this collective mindset that judgment itself is bad, and we're looking to get to the place of always being non-judgmental. Is this highly moralistic value system that we have to try to become non-judgmental. And I'm going to say that's exactly what you don't want to do. But what you do want to do is focus on where and if your parents were judgmental in your youth, and to the point of criticism. My partner told me one time, judgment never was bad. It's about these three stages I look at, which is awareness, okay, to just become aware of something. To become aware of something is not bad, okay? My armpits stink. I'm not judging it. I'm just becoming aware that my armpits stink, okay? Then the stage of judgment of, I should take a shower maybe in the nighttime because now that the summer is coming, I realize it's not winter and I need to take an extra shower a day, okay? Now the criticism is where this mind becomes really negative in the process of, no one's ever going to love you, no one's ever going to want to sleep with you, they smell your armpits like this, you're going to continuously be ridiculed. This is where, again, a lot of this becomes a pressure in the mind. And Libra is a lot about the mind. And the 6th degree is a lot about the mind. And Virgo's 6th degree is about the mind in an analytical way of what can I get rid of out of the mind. Okay, so considering we just passed Virgo season, we are already consciously aware of all of our personal ambitions that essentially allows us to be even more clear on what is we need to get rid of. What mental processes of judgment in a negative fashion do we need to get rid of? And we're going to face this. Now, understand that this is something that has formed in the first 7 years of your life, the next 7 years of your life, and the third 7 years of life. They're broken into trimesters. Those first 7 years are really where it mostly matters, okay, from 0 to 7. How judgmental was your parent during those phases? Because maybe you're growing up and you're thinking, my parents weren't very judgmental at all. Okay, this full moon is a closure and illumination on how your mental facilities have been set up around not just the stages of judgment, but the integrity of your mental body. Now, when I say integrity, I mean the strength, the infrastructure. Okay, and this integrity will be pretty much met by opinions where you want to, through these judgments, you've looked at the microcosm, okay, and you've only taken in the masculine viewpoint, looking at this one clear objective goal and unable to see how large the macrocosm is. And let's say this is representing more of the feminine energy who can see the whole picture rather than the male or the masculine energy who's looking to focus on this one individual piece of the pie that says, look, we need to get this pie before we even get to the next step anyways, so I don't have time to see the whole picture. But the thing about this full moon in Revelation is if you can't look at the whole picture and then choose from this feminine macrocosm, okay, this big wide void, the Akashic ocean, Akashic space, ethereal space, if you can't see from that potential reality and expansion of consciousness, then you're going to be unable to make a wise decision with this very limited piece of information. You're going to have a very limited result. And what you'll do is you'll continuously only allow people to enter in your mental sphere or your discussions or the actions and the risk and the assertions that you take, okay, the instincts that you follow, which are pretty much with the moon in Aries on a rapid level, aka you're not thinking, they're just instinct, right? You'll act from a limited vision. And this is where your opinions take a place of superiority or inferiority, okay? Where you look to, um, essentially allow others to be seen as better than you or above you or higher than you, and you just kind of praise them and give them all the power, all right? And essentially, you're stuck powerless. This is literally Mars and Libra, right? Like, other people are in charge of the decisions and the ways in which you assert not just yourself, but your sexual energy, aka what you create and what you build, what relentless energy you have that you're essentially giving to others to manipulate and use for you like a puppet. So this full moon in Aries has a couple other things going on. You have Mars and Libra, Mars and Libra is going to quincunx Uranus and Taurus. Now, why does this matter? Because Taurus and Uranus are friends, okay? That's not true. They actually don't like each other at all. But they're good for us as a collective. Libra and Taurus are friends, being in domicile or home, both in Venus, okay? But they represent two different aspects. One is very stuck on this family image and family values, okay? And one is pretty much circulating in the mind and trying to push forward, if not new ideas, the same dogmatic ideas in the mental body that is essentially maintaining the integrity of your mind. Whether your mind is integral in a negative fashion, I don't like negative, I'm going to use it, or it's positively integral. Okay, what we're looking to really do is step into what can be considered a perfect organism, or really kind of seeing ahead of the future. But we can't do that if we leave the masculine out or the feminine out, or we see the world in duality of, if this is this, then the opposite is that. If this is love, then this is hate. And it's like love and hate have never been opposites in the first place. They've always been a part of the same thing. Okay, this is about recognizing that Libra may help us through this mindset of the scales hit the thumbs up and the likes button. Libra may help us through the mindset of the scales in a sense of trying to understand the world from a mental perspective. But the mind itself is not the soul. It's not the physical body. Okay? It's not your financial wellness. It's not your social integrity, right? It's one part of existence, and the mind oftentimes needs something to focus on, so it needs to continuously judge something. So trying to stop being judgmental is exactly the opposite. It's more about recognizing Venus at the foundational level. Venus, okay, what have your family values been around money? How have your family judged money? One of the biggest things I had to learn growing up was money is the root of all evil, and realize how to deprogram that, because that was a family mental thought process that I realized until I met this Finnish woman in freaking Thailand, that money is neutral. I'm like, wow, that's a completely new value. I've never heard of that. I've always understood that money is the root of all evil. And I started realizing that almost every millionaire, every billionaire that I've met, they don't think money is evil at all. Okay? Even if they use it for evil things, that's a different story. They don't look at it as evil. It's an energy, and that energy is neutral. And that energy is perfect as is. And it is something that you can use to exchange. But me growing up with the mindset in judging and criticizing money as the root of all evil, I didn't want money. Because I'm like, look, evil people have money, and I'm not evil. I'm a source of pure light. I'm a baby. I'm like pure greatness, right? Like pure innocence, pure play. And so this full moon is trying to get us back to letting go of certain mental thoughts that are honestly trapping us, so that we can get back to the sense of innocence, a sense of play. And this quincunx of Mars in Libra to Uranus and Taurus is actually asking us to cut away some of these mental thought processes that we had around money. Okay, a lot of us have been trapped. Money is a huge one. A lot of us have been trapped around resources and what we have, or mentally thinking what it looks like to be an entrepreneur, what it looks like to be someone traveling abroad, what it looks like to be somebody as a sister in the family, what it looks like to be a brother in the family. Mars being brothers, a brother in the family. What does it mean to be a brother? Oh, do I need to be at every single birthday? Do I need to buy you a gift on Christmas, right? These things are keeping us trapped in a mindset around what we have and what we have and what we share, because Libra is what we share, is how we balance out situations. We're balancing things out from a very outdated narrative where not even your mother or your father is the same person that they were when you were 0 to 7 years old. And this is the first problem. Our judgments are still running off of 0 to 7 years old. And if you didn't get wounded then and your parents divorced, parents, marriage, divorce, Mars, divorce, splitting a relationship between 7 to 14 years old, then this will likely have been something you tried to handle your wounding between 14 to 21 years of age, where instead of handling it emotionally, because this is where the emotional wounding is happening from the 7 to 14 years of age, and you start dealing with things and you can't control essentially your emotion, you just spill and blurt out. If something happened during that time frame, then you're trying to mentally, from the ages of 14 to 17, 14 to 21, you're trying to mentally heal and deal with your wounding through the mind. So you're trying to handle something emotionally through the mind. If it happened earlier, you're trying to handle something emotionally, but that is damaged and wounded through the spirit from 0 to 7 years old. You know what I'm saying? So my point is, you're never going to win that battle. And this Aries full moon is saying, look, you have the opportunity to go ahead and look at the Ouroboros, okay, the snake bite in the tail, and realize that Aries is not just always considered the initiation or the beginning. In fact, it is more oftentimes considered the ending of the tale. Because when you end something, what do? You naturally begin. And it's allowing us and asking us to stop looking at the world and life so dualistic and realize that it is perfect as is. Realizing that, when you have an opinion, it is okay as the basis of having an opinion, because it allows you to start having a certain sense of far-sightedness, to be able to see ahead of time, to be able to understand that you have precognition. You literally are in a fractal, a shard of omniscience, like being able to see all things, okay, future, past, present, right now, here, then, later, at the same time. And this is kind of going back to what I said, is Aries full moon, especially if you have gate 17 or gene key 17, which is in human design, this gate that Aries is representing. Okay, you can see all of these facets simultaneously, and this full moon is allowing you to illuminate. Last night in my dreams, I kept looking for something. It's funny, I kept looking for gate like the movie theater 18, and it really is like this gene key 18, gate 18, which is Libra in this instance, which is in the spleen, or what can be considered what makes us healthy or not. Okay, so what relationships are healthy for me or not? What is the relationship that I have with judgment? What's the relationship I have with my opinions, and how the opinions inform the judgments, and the judgments inform the opinions at these two shadow level frequencies. Okay, um, but the integrity of those judgments, those opinions, aka the strength, the infrastructure of them, is based on how far-sighted I can look. How much outside of this little piece of the pie can I look and see the full piece of the pie and realize, I don't need to ever stress about money or relationships ending or closing, or starting and beginning, or money coming in or not, or whether I have it or not, or my home being secure or not, and realize that the moment that I do this and it begins to juggle in my mind, and it starts to yelling at me, and it starts putting me in these narratives of being more worried or more fearful, I understand that this is the false self. This is not authentic to my spirit. It's not authentic to my emotional body. It's not authentic to my mental body. It is actually a flat out lie. It is a conditioning. This Aries full moon might likely tell you, look, it'll show you a piece of the past, the present, the future, and every single moment you're doing in the exact moment now. And it's going to pretty much say something very calm once. And it's going to say, do this. And it might just shut up and never tell you again. When that happens in a very calm fashion, you know, I should listen, because this is my higher self. This is the self in me that can see the full pie, that can use and combine the feminine whole universal picture and the masculine. I'm focusing on this piece and this part, and fuse them together. And when you can do these two things together, you now have the ability to always know what's going to happen next. And so because of that, you don't need to worry. Look at your experience. If you've seen the past, you've seen the future already. Look at your experience. The last time you worried about whether you're going to pay your rent, did you pay it? Did you do it the last 2 years? Oh, you had inflation happening just like now in 2008. Did you survive? Did you become better after this crisis? Yes, 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 yes. Wow, my whole body feels calm. I don't feel any nervous energy in my body. This full moon is asking us to put an end to these judgments, to these opinions, to this lack of vision, to the lack of integrity at an infrastructure level, mental integrity. It's asking us to put an end to it all. 6th degree, everything we learned in Virgo season, let it go. Now the Mars quincunx to that Uranus is this difficult relationship of, you have the ability to integrate a new thought, like we just did, and it's going to bring a calmness to your body. Okay, so let's check out this. Let's see what else we got going on. We have Venus, which is in Leo. So we have to understand that Mars, this place we're taking action, which is in Libra, we have to now put that that Libra and that Leo lens on there, which is literally saying, okay, basically what I said, break away by experiencing a variety from the authority. The authority that your parents have consistently maintained over your mental process, even though you don't live with them. Even though you are now, especially though when if they told you you can't take that risk, you can't be an entrepreneur, you can't work for yourself, you need to go get a job being a physical therapist or a civil engineer or a doctor. These things with a name, a status, Libra. It's asking us to cut away from needing to have a status. I had I don't even want to say a client. I had a friend the other day who mentioned to me, he was like, I need to go ahead and get this certification in order to start telling people how to eat. I was like, why? Let that certification go. Let that title go. Let your body be. I was like, go ahead and take a before picture and take an after picture and show them what you did to get your body right when it comes to nutrition, and then go ahead and be a nutritionist. I'm an astrologer. I've been an astrologer for so many goddamn lifetimes. So many lifetimes. Why? I'm going to give people with certifications because I know what I'm talking about. So when you go and you take a course on my website, you get a certification saying, look, I truly believe that with this, and you pass this quiz, you pass this midterm test, that you're certified to be able to talk about the degrees, 6th degree, which is the Hermit degree, and astrology in the degree point theory course. Period. Right? So my point is, this is a part of separating from the authority, which is what Leo likes to do. Step out into the world with a certain sense of ferocity, with a certain sense of fearlessness, and respect that this is who I am. And in order to do that, you're going to have to ruffle some feathers and realize that what may seem unfair today is still perfect. Libra. It may seem unfair to go ahead and do that, to separate from that title, but the reality is, if that's what your guidance, your intuition, your instinct has told you, to go ahead and take a risk and start charging clients to teach them about their nutrition, and you know what you're talking about, what can some agency tell you that's better than what has worked for you, that you have seen replicated and worked over and over and over? Nothing. Okay, so that's one part of that quincunx relationship, of kind of letting go of this foundational level of, this is the image of what it means to go ahead and be able to create a very futuristic form of earning potential around a natural skill, a natural resource of mine. If I use this natural resource, being me as an astrologer, or me as a shaman, or me as a nutritionist, or me as an architect, right? It's like, I know how to build. I somehow could build Legos when I was growing up, and that translated into me being able to build, through wood and carpentry. And now I build these masterful pieces through wood. I don't need to go to carpenter school if I know what I'm doing. If I YouTubed it, I figured it out, and wow, oh my God, I was a carpenter. Pretty much, I just understand this. Go be a carpenter. Okay, so now, that's one of the big things we have happening, but we do have pretty much an exact square between Uranus and Venus. And this has already happened because Venus was in retrograde. So understand, with it being in retrograde, we've already been here. We went through this exact same square, axing and talking about our life system, axing and talking about our career, and what we're going to go ahead and pursue at an angular level as we step into Libra season, which is going to bring a lot of new relationships. Okay, this full moon in Aries is saying you now have the courage to do it. You now are in a space of independence where if you take the time to hermit and really, introspect and deeply feel into what are my dreams telling me to do in the waking world and reality. All right. Are you taking the time to clean these corners of your house? All right. The corners you never touch, under the fridge. All right. The fan, I just cleaned the fan yesterday. Everybody knows, you got to clean the fan. Like, it gets nasty. You start circulating this pollution. What does that do? It gives asthma or blocks up and colludes the airways of Libra. Libra is air, something like forceful air coming out of fan. That is Libra's domain. Libra is a system of purification, drinking more water. I've been drinking a crap ton more tea. What am I doing? I'm cleaning out my insides. What is all of this doing? Okay, it is getting rid of some of these irrational fears that's coming from Piscean energy. Okay, all the oppositions that Pisces went with, Neptune and Saturn and Pisces, all that stuff. It's taking these dreams that were never mine. Let's say something like being a physical therapist. My parents begged me to be a physical therapist, and I was like, I'm an exercise physiologist. Mom, Dad, this is what I want to do. And then eventually it's like, I only wanted to do that to go against the parents. See that? I only wanted to do that to go against the parents because I didn't want to do what they wanted to do. I wanted to figure it out myself. But I was being judged so much that it was difficult in college, where I took an extra year to graduate college, simply because I was so focused on, how do I do what I want to do and make them happy? And this is Libra. Mars and Libra is saying with the South Node conjunct, this is another major thing. The South Node is pretty much conjunct Mars. Let me check if that's true. Yeah, 4-degree conjunction is conjunct Mars, which is now asking us to reshape what we consider a failure. Okay, because gate 32, the failure is really what is plaguing us, and it's asking us to pretty much cut away certain relationships, cut away certain parts of the mental body, cut away certain people that are not healthy for us. Okay, you might be married to somebody and it's not healthy for you. It may be time to get rid of that joint, honestly, and go ahead and take the time to go ahead and do what you got to do for yourself. And understand, you don't have to be married where you have a ring on the finger, but you might be married to a concept. You might be married to an idea of what it means to date and relate, that I need to go ahead and take my woman out 3 days a week at a minimum and spend XY dollars. Okay, I need to buy Christmas presents. All right, I need to, like, if I'm saying this as a male for a moment, Or if I'm saying this as a female, I need to sex my partner at least 5 times a week. If I don't get my partner oral head at least twice a month, then they're not gonna love me. And it's like these narratives, like there are so many in our mind that are just values that we've attached and aligned to. This Aries full moon is saying, look, go ahead and do what you gotta do for yourself. That might equate to saying, you know what? I don't have the energy to have sex with my partner this week because I need to masturbate for myself. This is what self-care and self-love looks like for me. I need to masturbate for myself all alone and have my own attention for myself and say, I want to manifest, yeah, and bring that in for you. And then watch that energy, because you've respected and loved and cared for yourself, if that's what self-care looks like in the moment, or if it takes me in the last couple of days, like 4 days, I was like, I'm in the house. I ain't going outside. I was like, the energy outside, I don't got nothing to give to nobody. I stayed inside for myself. My body was going through a full rejuvenation. Now I'm out here with the company t-shirt, and I feel like the phoenix. My body is going through a rebirth. And that's me taking the time alone. And it's a lot of what Virgo needs. Virgo, right before Libra, is saying, take the time alone. So the Aries full moon, you have this quincunx relation between Virgo and Aries. I'm not going to go there. All right? And really, I feel like for the time being, this is all I really want to say. I know you're going to have Pallas and Libra as well. And Pallas is like, our finishing ability, how we finish things up. So it's Exodus, like this full moon, which is coming to closures, something's going to be released. Ask yourself, what do I need to sacrifice in my relationship dynamics? Okay, what opinions and judgments around relationships as a whole can I sacrifice that will bring in a renewed sense of self and restore power to me? How can I release identifying with the judgments of my childhood? Release the judgments, identifying with the judgments, and just start to judge without becoming a part of the identity of being someone who is critical with their judgments rather than being able to judge fairly. If you made it to the end of the video, drop the thumbs up and the likes button. Drop a Libra scale, okay? If you felt like your parents were judgmental, maybe drop an Aries if maybe they were judgmental, but you're figuring it out. And you're growing and you're coming allowing things to come to an end. You're allowing these genes to literally meet the stop codon, aka it terminates this part of your genetic makeup and allows you to start inviting healthy relationships, a healthy sense and renewal of mental integrity, a healthy renewal of how you look at and perceive money and what you actually need versus what you don't need. As you start to look at these things, you're going to start realizing, wow, life is absolutely beautiful. So drop the Aries or drop the Libra as an envelope, and you're going to realize what we're going to be talking about as we move into the next stage of this. So with that said, hit the thumbs up and the likes button. This is your AstroShaman, Pernell Bobby. We're generating an economy of harmony, leveraging human design and genetic astrology. I will see you soon. Memberships, we're meeting back up October 1st. If you're thinking and considering it, it's a good time to join. We're starting a whole new series. Okay? There's private groups where our community, they're always saying how grateful they are for this community, and I really thank y'all and I appreciate y'all, because y'all see the smile on my face. I'm like, man, it feels good. Like, I wanted to create something where it can work itself, and I don't need to be this overbearing presence, and y'all can communicate, and I'm so happy. Like, the economy is growing, it's forming, and they're really growing a tight-knit bond. A lot of them are starting to meet up in person. This is incredible, man, over different states and countries. Wow. All right, I'll see you soon.